Yo!
Yayo Talk Show!
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Molly.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Marco.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Katie.
Dreamin'!
Al's name didn't fit. They talk about the show, this group of four friends been going for 1,000,000 years, there's no end. Watching every arc and saga, no sleep. It's the king of anime, 1,000 episodes deep.
Yayo Talk Show!
Talking about One Piece.
It's the name of the podcast.
We're not on Vine. Yayo Talk Show. Talking about
One Piece.
What's up, wenches, privateers, and non-binary buccaneers? Welcome aboard the most chaotic One Piece podcast on the grand internet. You know that thing where newlyweds put a chunk of their wedding cake in a freezer for a year and then they eat it on their anniversary? This is like that. But if the amount of time is still longer than how long it takes to finish the whole Cake Island arc. So like that anniversary is years away. What I'm saying is I'm hungry. Welcome. Before we get to this cake, let's introduce the crew.
Just say?
I don't
know, but I liked it.
Did you steal my bit?
No, I
That's my
actually
bit.
I wrote that down like a week ago. Let's introduce the
really
crew.
Do that?
Yeah. Oh,
Why?
yeah.
That's gross.
No, it's pretty good.
I feel very
You
singled out
want
as the
year-old
single
cake?
person here.
You put it in
I'll
the
just
freezer.
make a new cake.
You put, and people do that too, but like we put ours in the you put yours in the freezer the day of, you keep it frozen, and it's fine because it's mostly sugar.
This feels. I
Gross.
feel very.
Nah, it was good.
Yeah, you know what? I feel very offended because they're two married people, one person who's in a relationship, and then there's just me. But I also have cake in my freezer, unrelated.
You just have normal cake all the time.
Whatever.
I'll just if I want to get split.
I was
Why
gonna
do you
say
need-
Molly is the cake, but that's
Can you
different.
imagine? Can you imagine? Okay, I know we haven't done our intros yet, so I'm gonna say this really quick. Can you imagine somebody just be like, "Look, I just want a really big cake, so let's like have a fake wedding to get a really big cake," and that's basically what we're going into here.
Weddings have happened for less.
That's
I
a
mean,
Luffy
fair.
ploy.
However,
It's the
you
Luffy
could
ploy.
just
What
buy
if I
the
make
cake.
my
just buy
daughter
a
have
cake.
a wedding so I can have cake? That's One Piece, everybody.
Yeah.
I just saved you 3 very long Sanji filled hours.
Well, going along with how most episodes end.
Wow, our shortest episode ever.
Yeah, we
Like,
talked longer before than we
half
actually did on the
Cake Island.
episode. Half
Man,
Cake
that-
Island.
I know we talked about it last episode, and we will get
Frozen
to
Hold on.
Cake
Hold
Island.
on. Everybody stop. I'm going to introduce the crew. First of all, Captain of the CrUno Pirates, Molly D. Simpy, Wild
Hey.
Theorist, Kaden Jensen, The Laughborg, Al McClellan Jr., and I'm the internet's gentleman, Mark B. Donica. The B stands for Bonesman. Now I'm going to mute my mic while we all just go nuts.
Do you think
You remember
Quinlan
the
had
part where
so
it's a
many
chaotic
kids?
podcast?
Did you just
Yeah,
have
that with
like
the-
cake? Do you think that's what it was about?
Do I think it's all about a cake? Considering Big Mom's entire thing, her big intro is, "You took my candy away." And then her second intro is, "I'm going to murder you if you don't give me the exact type of sweet I want." And then she gets one of her many thousands of children to take a bunch of living sentient food, smash it together, and then feed it to her. Yes.
I feel like
Yes.
all
it needs-
been
Like I know that
We've all been hangry.
thematically it's a part of getting this whole freaking like army thing together, but pertinently and characterization, I think she's in it for the food. Which, you know what? I
mean-
respect more than the robot army thing. I think that's a better plan than anything. It's just like, I'm here for the cake. That's why she has so many kids. It's like, I got married, and she gets married to a new person every couple years, gets a new cake, but she can only do it so often. So like she has a bunch of kids to get married so that she can have free cake all the time, and then it just increases the amount of cake she can have because then they're gonna have kids and then they're gonna get married and then she gets more cake.
yo.
Strong.
That's the whole point.
You can
And
do
it's
that.
like- and we need to define murder here because the stakes, or I guess the cakes, are higher because
God, episode title. Write it down. The cakes have never been higher. Thank you, Al. Holy crap.
But if it's not that she's going to murder you, it's that she's literally going to go on a kaiju rampage destroying the
that's
city.
still. I mean, to be fair, what
You
is
will
a
be
kaiju
murdered,
rampage?
but also
if
your
not-
entire family, your home, your ancestral lands, everything will be destroyed because you didn't
What-
give her a slice of cake.
What is a kaiju rampage if not the temper tantrum of a toddler at the size of a gigantic building being upset that they did not get a piece of. I mean, I just watched Incredibles 2 again. Cookie Num Num. It's like if you don't, every situation that involves the cookie results in the demon baby. That is the entire thing that we've learned in Incredibles 2. There is nothing else to learn about it. I promise you. That's the entire point to learn, and there's nothing else there. But like that, I mean, what is that if not that exact equivalent? I mean, hell, Jack even turns into a giant baby when did not get Cookie Num Nums. So like that's Big Mom. Big Mom is like a descendant of the Incredibles. I don't know how I got there.
So say we all. Truly.
But,
How do we get anywhere on this podcast?
I love how Mark is already tired. Mark is already.
I woke up tired.
I could hear his I hear he leaned away from the mic and just sat back in his chair for 5 minutes and just let that happen.
No, I legitimately muted my microphone. I promised.
Oh man.
I'm also
Anyway.
making a meme because we say stupid stuff all the time. I think what's
us.
So there's a couple things that I wanted to establish at the top here. One, place your bets now for how long it takes for one of us to say Charlotte instead of what their actual name is other than Charlotte.
Bets on
and
Mark.
Two,
Immediately, Mark. Yeah.
Caden,
Hi.
what chapter are you on?
I'm literally done with whole cake. How about that? How about I just say that and I say I'm done with whole cake because I literally had to stop because y'all didn't give me a number. And I'm just like, I ended whole cake, I think. I'm pretty sure based off of everything.
If you had your whole cake and read it too,
could you tell us?
Could I tell you?
Because that will then help us like not go farther than a particular episode in terms of
902.
902. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're getting
You're
so
welcome.
close.
Oh my
I
God.
know. I'm almost caught up.
I don't know about that.
102. You have,
Shut up. Don't you dare take this away from me.
I mean,
you know what?
It was
I'm gonna
faster
go-
than when I went through it the first
I will
time.
go back and I'll continue talking. We have what, volume 90? God.
Yeah, you've got
yeah.
almost like 200 pages left to current chapter.
Pages.
Wait, no, chapters.
You
I
got
don't know, man. I don't know, man.
That's
did
not
it.
that bad. That's not that bad. Wait.
Not at all.
You just have a
Unless-
novella left.
I
Wait.
just have 2 arcs left worth of
As
content.
Somebody who's been consuming books like it's an unhealthy rate. I've been like reading like 500 pages a day.
Hey, I
You
hate
do
to
it.
I hate to like derail this and talk about something else for
Oh,
2
now
seconds.
you'd hate to derail.
Oh.
He says.
Molly, did you read that book I gave you?
There's that clock.
It's the next one. It's the next one.
It's the next one? Okay, cool.
Cool.
You can keep that book, by the way. You can keep
Really?
that. That is a gift. Yeah, that is a gift. That is a gift. You can have that book. Okay?
I'll wish it.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
a book I gave you is also a gift.
Okay, well, I love you too, Molly.
Yeah, I love you. Love you. Too.
Hey, Al, you want to talk about anything?
Yeah, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Did you get those? How you doing?
You guys
I know.
gotta give each other books like we do.
I mean, we also don't live in the same.
You can fucking mail a
Hey.
I
book.
thought
It's
you were
actually,
gonna
by
say.
the way, I'm going to
this
stop you right there.
economy?
I'm
I
going to stop
thought
you
you were
right
gonna
there.
say we
Let me-
also don't read.
Let me introduce you to something. The only part of any government I respect, the post office,
Government.
actually allows you to send printed media for cheaper than any other thing that you send. So if you send it through USPS, you can actually send printed media for cheaper than any other package you send. You just need to list it as a printed media.
Cool, that's
Not-
great. I need money for that, though, right?
Okay, well, I mean,
Wait,
it's
I'll
the,
save
it's the
you-
post office.
I'll
They're-
save-
Details.
I'll dig these buggy boys out of this hole. You know, Mark did just move, so his address has changed. I
Yeah,
understand if you haven't sent each other anything in a while due to the moving. Wink.
By the way,
address
10 minutes.
has
10 minutes to
changed.
first hole is where
We gotta
we are
move.
now. By the way, 10
First
minutes
hole?
to first hole. First hole of the podcast. 10
What are-
minutes in. Molly
What are you
Flood.
guys doing in there? Get out of there. Get out of
Oh, God.
Get out of the buggy hole. Get out of there.
Get out of the hole.
Where did we leave off last episode?
We left off on Pudding revealing
Game's broken.
Jeebus Creebus. Okay, so something else I was going to say /
Oh, yeah?
establish is, if you can't tell, and sort of going along with how most arcs and sagas. No, that's sorry. My brain auto completed.
Mark wants to be done already.
No comment. But we as you could tell, we're kind of scatterbrained. We tend to be scatterbrained when it comes to this, and I feel like it creates better content, better conversation, better moments for us to share, both as podcasters as well as you, the listener. So we are going to talk about sort of our highlights, like not necessarily every single little thing, because if we did that, we would be here forever, especially with how often we get derailed. So bear with us if there's something that you feel that we might have missed. Make sure to hit us up on social media. We are across our various Discord channels, on Tumblr. Molly put up a poll that should have that should end tomorrow if you're listening to this on the day of release. So
12
make sure you're
minutes for
following us
first
on
poll?
Tumblr. Yeah, you know.
Please.
But yeah, I wanted to say that off the bat too. I say off the bat 10 minutes in, but we're going to do like big swaths, big strokes, talk about our favorite parts, and maybe we'll talk about stuff that didn't necessarily work for us. Let's see how well we go. Also, if you reach the end of this episode and it doesn't feel like we finished our conversation, that's probably because our conversation went too long and we split it into 2 episodes. So be ready for, if you're looking at the episode length and go, that's too short, guess
Don't
what?
worry about
We got
Ask
more-
the question.
It's that way because that's the way it is.
because that's how and that's the way it was. So
That's
we
the way the
left
cookie crumbles.
off with Pudding telling Luffy something.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
And we didn't necessarily know, and we left it on a big cliffhanger, even though people could watch and find out what it was. And this is when we see
Shut
Pudding's
up.
first turn, and she reveals that even though Sanji was like, all right, just don't hurt my crew, and Big Mom was like, oh, aces, let's go. And Pudding goes, oh no, she's totally going to kill the Straw Hats as well as the entire Vinsmoke family. And we have a new layer of treachery, a new layer of intrigue, a new layer. We keep going back to cakes. We've got a new layer of this big old cake, and
Big
that
layer
sort of
cake.
sets forth a whole bunch of BS that the Straw Hats and the Charlotte family and just the world as we know it has changed.
Yes.
And what we talked a bit about Pudding, but how did this affect your opinion of her?
I knew she was cute, but now I know she's hot.
I honestly, my opinion didn't change. And then like as the whole thing went forward, it's just like, yeah, that'll make sense. Like I know we're not at that part yet to talk about it just yet, because we'll get there in a minute.
Well, why don't we just talk about Pudding as a whole? Like this is what y'all are disgusting.
Al laughed first. You did it. Al's ordeal with the
Here.
word hole.
Seriously. Here, let me put it in a different way.
Alt title. Mark's
why don't we-
ordeal with everyone saying whole.
Mark's ordeal with everyone speaking. Let's talk about Pudding's character in its entirety. Does that sound better? Al, do you want to
Yeah.
go?
Thesaurus. Well,
I do have it pulled up.
Pudding is one kid in an army of kids trying to win Big Mom's favor. So like all of this like subterfuge and whatnot is basically her just trying to operate within the system she grew up in. And so this moment where Sanji is like, "You're beautiful," Princess Mononoke's putting on the reveal of her third eye. It's like the just random, like that's sort of weird to say to a stranger, but it is the only time someone has reacted
wedding
positively to that in her life. So it broke her a little bit. Oh God.
Is that what you're working on?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Mark just showed us the meme in our Discord, and I approved it.
And now I broke it.
This is an audio medium. I'll make sure people see it. But yeah, like putting one of the things that I think the Big Mom arc talks about, is why the fact that she amassed this family for power, and she has so many kids to the point where, and cake as is well established. It's always about family, and the fact that these are people related either by marriage or by blood, and how people can get lost in the shuffle because there's just a metric butt ton of people, and
the Charlottes
of Charlottes, and putting just wanting to rise up the ranks of family is like, there's so much like toxic family BS that this brings up, and watching Pudding be conflicted with what she might actually want versus what she has been inundated to want by her mother is, I think, provides a very interesting character in that regard. What do y'all think?
It's something that, like, my number one instinct is that when Oda like finally reveals who the villains are, I'm like, I hate them. Like, man, I don't like them. I can't relate to them. But like Pudding, it's like, man, don't make me feel bad for her. it's no, give me the black and white. Like, let me the heroes versus the villains. But no, it's also it's like, that's not how this manga is. That's not how Oda tells the stories. Like, we've re-met villains from the beginning of the story who have, like, certainly not befriended Luffy. Some have befriended Luffy, but also allied with Luffy at this point. And it's crazy to see in such a short amount of time somebody go from, tricking us as the readers, betraying us as the readers, and then somehow you can still relate to them and want redemption for them. And also just knowing, like I don't know, for me personally, I went to school with like the same kids, elementary school, middle school, and high school, with like the addition of like more kids I didn't know coming to schools every year. But like, there's a different level of like who you've always been, because that's just the box you fit yourself into, and then going to college where you have no one know who you are, and just being like, we've all been in those situations where we have a conversation with somebody and someone says something really terrible, and it's like, but that was like for everyone's childhood, right? And it's like, no. You're in a bad home situation, and I'm very sorry. But it's like, I think Pudding is getting there, or at least like she's having the conversation with herself, but also is like, I'm aware that things are bad, but that doesn't necessarily mean like I'm willing to change anything about it, or anything will change about it, which is something that Luffy always brings to the table of like, we've always been, like a bad guy has been punching down on this village for so long. And yeah, of course we'd like freedom, but like, we also don't want to die. And Luffy being like, bet. And it's like, oh, you know what? I can change my situation. I just need somebody to motivate
I'll
me
just do
and
something
also
different.
Yeah, push me harder, and also like get assistance and things like that. So Pudding is a complicated character. Like, I mean, and that's like true in itself, but I think complicated for me. Like, I really wanted to not like her, I think is the easiest way to phrase it. Like, I still have issues with Hancock and Amazon Lily, but like, I was very surprised that I came back around to the pudding train, like reading this arc for the first time.
All aboard
I
the
was like,
pudding train. Well,
like-
there's a lot. There's a lot in
Okay.
Whole Cake, just in
Yeah.
general, where because if you're in the trenches reading this week to week, like the three of us have been,
Mhm.
pudding seemingly turns like several times,
Yes.
and so many things happen like it over such a long period of time that it's easy to think back on the time and be like, I wish we could have gotten to this sooner, or maybe we could have made this moment a little bit different. But then now getting the opportunity to look back at it from a bigger perspective, all of the stuff that I thought was like, oh, we're doing this again, or oh, this is tired, or blah. And especially when it comes to a character like Pudding, being able to appreciate what she did, what she does, what she stands for, and how we leave her at the end of this arc makes me appreciate her a lot more.
Yes, I agree.
100%.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I will say when we were reading week to week there for a while, because this Whole Cake came out at my last apartment when I moved to LA. So like reading that week to week was just like an emotional roller coaster, and it's hard because it's like you make opinions, like you're sitting on it, you're sitting on the information you get that week until the following Friday, or if there's a break 2 weeks. And you're kind of sitting on the impression you got of that week and just being like, no, I hate her. Oh man, I love her again. It's not her fault. She's in a bad situation. No, she's making bad choices. Like, yeah, forget this chick. Like, no, it's like, well, that's not really her fault. That's her mom being a
How old is
huge
she?
jerk.
If this isn't going to be an SBS thing.
I wanna
no,
say
it's fine.
She is actually around Sanji's age.
No, she's a little younger. She's 16.
Okay,
Wow.
she is a kid. She is a child.
Also
She's a
that.
child, and so that's a lot of where my brain kind of falls for her. It's like she's a kid and put in a really horrible situation, plain and simple. Like she has no control over her own life at all.
Yeah.
And I kind of all right, let's see if this one hits. All right, sit down, brace yourselves. I kind of feel like it's appropriate that she has the gaslight fruit.
Never considered that before, but you're right. Go on.
because of how awful her situation is. And it really is. Like she is not in a unique situation with the Charlotte family as a whole.
Mhm.
But she is in a position where her marriage specifically is going to really benefit Big Mom in a huge way. It's going to put one of her major competitors under her jurisdiction because of how this pirate shenanigans works. It's going to get her a full army, and it's going to broker, technically, on paper, a kind of like partnership between two major families. This is a huge win, and Charlotte's just kind of stuck in the middle of it, and she kind of uses
Mark the time.
she kind of like uses her it's technically the memo fruit, but it's the gaslight fruit, where she removes the memory that you have of a situation from you and just like, I'm gonna throw it away. You don't remember this.
This is semi-related, but does that mean Big Mom has the girl boss fruit?
Oh my god.
It kind
No,
of
it's more of the
honestly.
gatekeep.
Yeah, no, it really is the gatekeep fruit. I don't think we've gotten to girl boss just yet. As far as I can see, you're probably not. But she's just a kid. She's 16 and she's put into this situation. She doesn't really want to get married. Sanji's actually really nice to her and really sweet to her. And I think that given time, this could be the relationship for Sanji. But also, she's 16 and needs to have some freedom and choice of herself. So if it all comes back around and she makes the choice herself later down the line, I think that'd be great. I think
so
that'd
too.
be amazing. So I think that their personalities mesh in a way that she can kind of keep Sanji's I'm gonna say promiscuity, to be polite, to a kind of
Undeserved, but go on.
an acceptable level. I'll be honest, Sanji kind of warmed up to me in this arc because of like his dedication. Like this is the Sanji we all really do like, and not the other guy who's there most of the time. This is Sanji as a person, and Sanji's not a bad person, just makes some really questionable choices sometimes based off of his own chauvinistic, macho, manly man, whatever nonsense that he believes. He's actually a decent person. He's actually a good person. We give him a lot of crap, and dutifully so, and correctly so. But this shows a lot of the like, listen, there are reasons to like Sanji. This whole arc is a good reason to like Sanji. I can't wait for him to go back to being exactly the same person that he was before this arc without really ever addressing it, period, because that's just kind of Sanji's bit. But like in the whole of it all, it's great. Like this, like I feel like Charlotte and Sanji as characters balance each other out really well thematically, because they both have very similar situations growing up. They both have very controlling families. They both were put into situations that there's nothing they could have done about this at all. It's completely out of their hands, and they made the best of it. And for Sanji, the best of it was becoming a Straw Hat Pirate. And for Charlotte Pudding, it was kind of like,
figuring out her family kind of sucks.
Figuring out her family kind of sucks and using the gaslight fruit to her own advantage. And you know what? Like, I know that people will be like, God forbid women do anything. Good for her. Like, this is good for her. And I hope that like we get to see her later down the line as like, oh yeah, no, I kind of like came into my own, and I decided what I wanted to do for myself. And if down the line, mid-20s, Pudding and, late 20s Sanji are just like, hey, you want to try and make that actually work? Because we kind of meshed in a weird way. And then I think that'd be fine. But she needs, first of all, time to herself and also time to grow up.
It
because
sucks, dude, because like the environment she's in, that it's like not just her mom. It's like her older siblings are all dedicated to the family like order of like what it's supposed to be like, and at the same time they're like the younger ones are all fighting for attention and like really just bad habits. Like I think we see one of the younger daughters at some point, and she's just like super cruel, and it's like that's just also like it's like they don't have anybody to like bounce good feedback off each other either. It's all competition to mom, and it's like currently Pudding's time to shine because her mom is forcing her to get married for an alliance, and then additionally it's not even about her. It's like a ploy to also kill the Vinsmokes and then also absorb like the good family members or whatever. And it's like they're constantly reminding her also of like, listen, like there's a part where she wants a wedding dress and her mom's like, no, you're wearing the one I'm telling you to pick. And it's like such
she doesn't even have that level of it's such a small little thing. She doesn't even have.
And it's just like it's like it's coming from like all sides. It's like I have an older brother and I emulate him a lot. Like I followed him around so much as a kid, and it just sucks to think
emulation
in a
is frowned upon, Molly.
Is that the wrong word? I like
emulation.
You're right. I'm just
emulation is fine. It's ROMs that are illegal.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we got Mark in on it. Okay, cool. We're getting the sillies out of him. I have another joke for that too.
That's
ring him out of it. I'll use the ring fruit, which don't worry that listen, I thought Smoothie was great before. I was wrong. She's even cooler.
Get your sip economy in now.
Yeah.
Load it up.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to juice a person. All right.
I gotta go.
I'm sweating now. I'm out of here. I gotta move. Yeah.
But to sort of boil down what we're all talking about, this whole arc is about like generational trauma and like how it manifests.
That's the term I was trying to think of. God,
that's the one. Emulate. That's it.
Yeah. But it's like
You
even
said emulate. You got it right.
But going back to like Big Mom's childhood, like she was raised in an orphanage where the whole thing was a lie that like traumatized her, and she doesn't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Like
They may not even know really. Like as a child, she was very like naive. There's a level of like, and that like is like part of her current personality as well. It's like
it became willful ignorance. It's like, well, the ignorance is bliss sort of thing, and
Yeah.
she became a lighthouse parent because of that. So just like she only pays attention to the things she likes, and then if she gets mad at anything, she snaps.
yeah. Yeah, you can't even be like, well, mom doesn't like me, so I'm out of here. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, the family. Like, you're part of the family. Like, you don't just get to leave. And the way that she treats her, I guess, surrogates, like, she's not necessarily married to a bunch of people, but she's definitely done the deed with a bunch of people. And we see that with,
Is she the youngest one to have a wanted poster so far?
I don't know, actually. Good question.
It's either her or Robin.
Because she was like what, 5 or 6 when she got a wanted poster.
I mean, so was Robin was young too.
I thought Robin was 10.
I'll look into it.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Yeah, but yeah, it's like
Who we talking about?
I agree. And generational trauma, like I'm trying to figure out like how best to phrase it, because it's just like she's still very much the same person she was when she was a kid, and it like is worse because she's so more powerful now. Like I mean, she did a lot of damage at the time of like what happened when she was a kid, but it's like worse somehow because now she's also an emperor. And
well, it's like her tantrums got her power, and then she just kept using that the entire time she has, been big momming around.
Yeah, this seems to be working.
She also
Big Momming Around is another good title.
Yeah, it's a good title. Like, also, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but like she kind of looked like Carmen Sandiego in her like 30s.
Oh yeah.
And
oh man.
it's what a vibe. What a mood. Like
really quickly,
like not talking about the silhouette or anything like that, but like the style, the hat, the cloak, and everything. I love the hat, the cloak.
Whereas I stay up late.
In the world is Big Mom Sandiego. Oh, right there.
Whereas I stay up late wondering if Odo will remember to draw Garp hot and young. Caden is now like, do you think Odo's going to remember to draw Big Mom hot when she's young?
Well, here's the thing. It has nothing to do with her being hot or anything like that. I just like her aesthetic before way more than her aesthetic now. Her aesthetic before is very Carmen Sandiego, and that's like on point for me. And what she changes into is kind of like she kind of has a buggy aesthetic going on in her 60s, 70s, where it's very like it's very carnival pirate, and I'm just like, that's not my vibe. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but like I still like her hat. Like, but like I kind of like miss me on the aesthetic with the style of her dress, the polka dots and stuff. I'm like,
I feel like it's like an old woman who's just collected figures and like porcelain dolls and like
precious moments figurines.
Yeah, precious moments figurines. But it's like the homies, like she's just full of like wild colors. The style differs from room to room based on what she was feeling.
It's true.
Right?
Also, Big Mom was 6, Robin was 8.
Okay, so I was right. Hey, so she is the youngest so far.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Hypothetically, allegedly.
There could be somebody I'm not thinking about right now, but
I mean, maybe Ace once, because he was
technically,
born.
there wasn't like a poster for him though. He was just wanted. Yeah, I don't know.
Unless we find out later.
Fetus?
Yeah. Can I say too? God.
Okay, again, great name for a podcast episode. I think it's appropriate here.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Molly.
No, you're fine. That was a good bit.
The only polite person today is Mark, who doesn't need to be polite.
No, it's just because we were talking about Lin and her youth. I like just had an epiphany that like we can always talk about it again later. But like thinking that like, you know, like Whitebeard, who was not, was he an emperor? He was an emperor, right? Because then Blackbeard,
Yeah.
okay, so it's like Whitebeard and Linlin, and we know the crew that they were on was like a big deal. It's just so funny to me that like a lot of them on the same crew had the same wants but couldn't achieve it on that crew. And now I'm just like, they all want big families, but it was like, okay, I'll be the dad. It's like, I'm sorry, I want to be the dad. No, I want to be the mom. Well, hold up, I want to be the mom. And it's like, we're out of here. We're gonna go start our own thing because
I'm gonna be my own mom. Wait.
Yeah, I want. It's weird that like they're all like, we want big family, but we don't want this family. Or it's like on a ship, a crew, and everybody has main protagonist energy.
Yeah,
and they're just constantly fighting about it.
It's boomer entitlement.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I have considered it before, I guess, but it's been a while since I've thought about it, and now I'm kind of like, just crazy how like we know who's come out of that crew, and they all actually have a similar vibe, but also like the way they go about it is different. Like Whitebeard was very genuine about, like, he didn't go out, allegedly did not go out and make babies, but like adopted, like, everybody on his crew was then like an adopted son or daughter or you know, child, and like treated like family to him meant something different than like Linlin churning out children, and also how she treats her children, like a whole different family dynamic necessarily. And I think that's very interesting, and I think it's like not the last time we'll talk about this kind of dynamic, but it's like weird. it's one of those, like, what's the meme on Tumblr again where it's like, listen, if I had a nickel for every time this specific thing happened, only twice, but weird that it's already like,
yeah, it's like I'd have two nickels, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Which isn't a lot. It's just weird that it happened twice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's the vibe I'm picking up from that crew, and now I'm like again, because the manga is not over, I'm like, how many more times is this theme going to keep popping up?
The other things that I kind of want to put out about Linlin, Big Mom, while we're talking about the hat,
Charlotte,
is that yes, the hat is also alive, and she also has
Napoleon.
Yeah, Napoleon, Prometheus, and Zeus are her homies. Like those are. It's so weird that why would
She put at least $2 into the machine to get.
And
right.
I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of glad that like Zeus ended up being like, not Zeus specifically, but like I'm kind of like glad that like Zeus and Nami had like that moment. And it's like, oh cool, more powerful now. And it's nice because I like that Nami is becoming more of a who's this freak in kind of the situation. It's like
it's not who's this freak scared, it's who's this freak derogatory.
Yeah, it's just like Nami is finally getting to a point where Nami is like it's no longer like she's afraid of things. It's like, all right, cool, I get to be one of the freaks of the week this time, like doing all these cool things and having all these abilities. Like I'm excited to see Nami grow with that.
Maybe she has the stick of girl boss.
She's
going to night class for girl bossing more.
I hated Prometheus so much. I hated Prometheus the most.
I gotta Google. I can't remember any of these.
The sun,
anymore.
the angry sun from from Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yes.
Prometheus is reference to stealing the fire from the gods. Fire.
There's only like a handful of homies I feel like I actually like, and the rest of them I'm like, God, who made you? Like, why are you like this? And I know who, but you know,
the cat meme, you.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. But yeah, I don't know if we said it last episode. I do just really quick want to segue while we're talking about Nami. It's happened a handful of times in the manga / show that like would love to just see like a quick cut of all of them. But like compared to the beginning of One Piece, like before the time skip of everyone being like, I mean, yeah, we said we'd go with you, Luffy, but like, Jesus, like, can you just like, you're making terrible choices, and like, I could leave at any moment, but nobody does. But it's still like, even during the Usopp stuff, like at Water 7, it was like a hard line of like Zoro. I mean, like even like Zoro being like the like one like first mate thing he does is to being like, listen, man, like you said Luffy was the captain, and we're not changing that. Like we can't have a mutiny.
No
We're gonna have a
backsies.
mutiny. Like you can have a different opinion than Luffy, but he's still your captain, kind of thing. And then now, after the time skip, after everything that happened at Marineford, they are all so ride or die for Luffy that it's like like Zoro says it a couple times where it's like, listen, man, Luffy's the captain, like, and that should be enough. And Robin, I think, has said it a couple times where it's like, I'll follow, you're my captain, and I'm like, I'm down for you. And I love in this arc that like Nami just slaps the shit out of Sanji because he's going against captain's orders. He's making like, it's okay to make decisions for yourself, but like there's also a level of like, you said you would do this with us, and like we're willing to like work with you on it, but like you're making really selfless decisions even though you're trying to be selfless. And it's like a lesson Luffy has taught them over and 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 over again, that like he will help you if you're in trouble. Like it's okay. Like you can, like Sanji's going through it, but like you don't necessarily need to go through it alone. And it's also like like as Caden was saying, it's like you kind of like soften for Sanji in this arc because you're finally realizing why he's so horrible. It's because he comes from he grew up in a horrible place, and like some stuff like he hasn't shaken off yet. It's like, oh god, I sound like my dad, but like him being self-aware enough to be like, I never wanted to see my family ever again. They're horrible people. They were horrible to me. I've been treated well by people who I love and consider my found family, and I don't ever want those two families to meet, right? Like why would I
That's a
why
mood.
would
Yeah,
it's like why would
that's a mood.
why would I inflict these terrible people on people who I actually love and care, and who love and care about me? You know what I mean? It's like, but it's like the entire the moral of every arc is like, believe in Luffy. Like Luffy will help you. Believe in Luffy. So it feels really good for Nami
Generational trauma, pretty fucked up. Believe in Luffy.
Yeah, it's just like they're threatening Chef Zeph and all of his family on Baratier as well, and it's like, if he told Luffy would be like, swag, let's turn around. Like we will go, like one of the movies, it was the one where Nami gets kidnapped.
Be more specific.
The lion guy with the knife legs. Yeah, Strong World, where like he's literally bringing Calamity to the East Blue where all their loved ones are, and like they have a set goal, and Luffy even in the movie is like, yo, let's turn it around. Like we got to go warn them. Like we got to go help them. We got to go see what's going on. Like would be so easy if you just been like, they're threatening Chef Zeph, I don't know what to do. Luffy be like, swag, let's go like, I don't know, let's go force Baratier to join our crew and just like tag along or be part of the fleet or whatever. We have the fleet now. And it's like, and they will be protected under our flag. You know what I mean? Like there would have been some kind of conversation, but like just to drive the plot forward, Sanji's got to go do his own thing. But it's very like, as I've said many times before, just because you have trauma doesn't mean you get to be a dick to everybody else. Like everybody's going through their own stuff, but now we kind of have an idea of what's going on with Sanji, and at the same time, Sanji stuff's going on.
I wanted to give Kaden her flowers for this because we were sweating so much in Thriller Bark when Sanji and Oda being just an absolute jerk about it, being like, oh, I had a book of devil fruits.
Yeah, that's why I told you to go back and listen to the Thriller Bark episode, because I focused in on that. And you're like, yeah, that is weird. I was like, uh-oh. Like, oh.
And I mean,
that's not common.
We were so deep in the paint, like watching Thriller Bark as was happening. We didn't even think about like socioeconomic trends.
There's
things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that they even put a pin in that by showing Sanji specifically reading the Book of Devil
Yes.
Fruits. I was like,
Thank
all right.
you.
All right,
Yeah,
you don't have to
it's
do
crazy
that.
too because we had just come off of Water 7 where we meet a guy who's like, if two devil fruit meet each other, then they'll kill you from the inside.
Well,
And it's
again,
like,
this is
obviously it's not common knowledge to have a book about every single devil fruit. Whoops.
right, but also like here's the real deal. Like, who has access to that information or knowledge?
Yeah.
And it's high-ranking people either aligned with or like making an agreement with the current world government. Of course, they're going to stifle that information. That's the entire point. If they let
Mhm.
people know about things, then they'll have the information that they need to rise up and
Impose
actually
power.
overthrow
up.
the oppressive government. So, like,
Yeah.
of course they're going to hide that information. The first thing, like, rightfully so, the first thing Sanji's like, I'm going to read this book. It's like, smart. Good call.
Flag.
That's
Yeah.
the first thing I would have done too. Also, shout out to Brooke for doing actually exactly what he was asked to do.
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to give you your flowers, but I did want to transition or not necessarily transition and focus a lot on it, but just Brooke being like, I got a job to do, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, listen, Robin sent me to do one thing. I'm gonna do the one thing, and he did it. Like, not only that, but like he still got captured, but like he got it, and he's like, I got it. Let's get out of here. I think Brooke's adventure of being a bones person, like in this whole arc, was kind of probably. It might be
Yeah.
my favorite part of it because it's just like, what happens if we just let Brooke do whatever Brooke wants to do? And that's basically what happens for a good while because
Well,
he's
I
away
think
from
I s-
everybody for a while.
Yeah, I think I said it last episode, or if I didn't, I meant to say it. But like, Brooke is playing the Sanji role this arc, which is like
Yeah.
Sanji in Water 7, where they're like, "Oh man, we missed the train. Oh hey, I'm on the train, and I left you guys walkie-talkies, and also I have information that we need to progress the plot forward. Don't worry, I'll fight this ramen guy really fast. It's all good."
Yeah, I'll fight nose noodles over here. You don't worry
Yeah.
about this.
But it's like it's the weird like clutch play that Sanji is known to do that like also like helps like round out like the loopholes and plot that
Yep.
Oda seems to give him, and it's Brooks' role this time around, and it's like, dude, look what you can do if you just apply yourself.
Yeah.
Brooke,
Well,
this,
the thing
this
is
could be you
you don't-
every day. Yeah,
the thing
yeah.
is he kind of doesn't necessarily need to. He's easily one of the strongest on the crew. He's here to be a part of it. He does Brooke. My favorite thing about Brooke is never trying to be the main character. Out of everybody on the ship with their own like, I could be a main character in my own manga story, Brooke could easily do it and then distances himself from it as far as he possibly can.
Man.
Sanji really doesn't. Sanji wants to be a main character. Zoro just is main character energy personified for like a lot of different series. Luffy is the main character. Nami is main character if the main character is a girl in a girl manga for girls, apparently.
I have a whole-
Chopper, they're all main characters. Like even Frankie is very like, look at, I'm a superhero.
the
I'm a
American,
superhero.
the American protagonist. I have a
And
whole
then-
theory about Brooke because I mean, my man lived an entire life before he met the crew, and then he had
Yeah.
his entire life like in the fog. It's like I am.
This is
like,
his third lifetime, technically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm genuinely waiting for like a lore. He peppered in some like little spicy like back info about himself in Thriller Bark about how he was part of an elite fencing crew and then became a pirate, and then shit happened while he was a pirate. And I'm like, that stuff has not come back up, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm like, dude, there's something.
I'll be
there's
real.
something
I
there.
kind of don't want any of that stuff to come back. Like for
think it
two
will.
reasons.
Maybe
One,
off.
most of these people are dead, so dead, super dead. Like maybe there's just like, hey, there's books written about you for your time with fencing. Can you teach us? Like maybe that or something like that. But I want it to be very simple or very small
I don't know
because I really want Brooke's whole thing to be just like, look, you guys made me a promise. I'm here to hang out until that promise is fulfilled. I just want
No.
to see Laboon again.
Well,
Yeah.
And I kind of want
maybe
that to
his
be
ego died too.
This entire story though, we're constantly flexing between timelines. Like
It's true.
there is a whole void that we don't know about that, like, I think Brooke may have been alive for a little bit of it. Like he was certainly out on the sea when like Gold Roger was. Like
Before Gold Roger.
yeah.
As
Pre
And
he
then,
Gold
was
Roger
starting out.
because it's like because Brooke shows up, it's like, Gold Roger. You mean the little rookie guy?
I'm waiting
Oh, good for him.
I'm waiting for another like Skypiea arc where they're talking about something. It's like, we don't really know a lot about it. And then Brooke turn around and be like, oh yeah, I was besties with that guy. And
Oh,
like,
you mean
just,
Bill?
Yeah. I'm waiting for that to happen. But it just hasn't.
We finally get
happened
to actually go to Discord Pia instead of Skype.
And it's an
Fine.
ancient trivia show where Brooke was happened to be alive during all of it.
Yeah, and was also
It's
like in
it's
the
just
thick
a
of
very
it.
long game of
Uh-oh.
Jeopardy, and Brooke's
Stop
like, I
writing,
know
Brooke.
all of this.
I think Brooke creates an interesting opportunity, similar to what Molly's saying. I totally agree. Like Brooke was given an opportunity to live the life that he never got to, and by being a part of this crew, he has the ability to protect his life and the lives of those around it, to keep the seas free and open. And a similar thing to something that we haven't seen a lot of Brooke, not necessarily just his backstory, but like early on, him, for lack of a better term, seeing ghosts, and him constantly living in the shadow of his mistakes. Was it a mistake that I ate the life fruit and all of this stuff? And we haven't seen people necessarily prey upon that. And I think that could be something that really shakes Brooke to his core if they know enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if there are other characters that are old enough to be like, I recognize that afro, I recognize that fencing style, I'm gonna be a jerk to you, or whatever.
I recognize that sweet guitar solo.
Oh,
Yeah.
just the visual of him and the big skeletal like Eddie from Iron Maiden behind him, like
Yeah.
let's go, yeah. Like I
He's-
threw the horns up.
He did, yeah, but it's a side of Brooke that I like seeing. It's like for a character that's very much like, because we haven't seen anything aside from the initial like meeting him backstory stuff, like he's basically just been a bit character all the movies, and like for somebody who's very strong too, like I feel like Oda leans on him for a lot of like panty jokes and like very specific jokes, like bone jokes, panty jokes. Like he doesn't get to
Skull
shine all that
joke.
much. Yeah. And like for him to like have a moment to be like, oh yeah, haha, I you guys left the grocery store list and I figured you guys were busy, so I just figured I'd get groceries for all of us. And yeah, no distractions along the way, so I did it. And it's like, you did it? Yeah, man, I did it. It's like, you can just do that? Yeah.
That was like probably one again. Brooke's whole little thing of just like, oh yeah, no, I totally finished doing the thing that was supposed to happen. It's like, you finished? It's like, yeah, absolutely. Right before Big Mom beat the hell out of me, but like I finished, and that's the important part. Let's not focus on the first part of the other part of that where I got the crap beat out of me. But like I did it.
You
is the
didn't
important
specify anything about that second part.
Yeah, I just got it is the important thing. And then so it's like, okay, well that concludes that part of this journey. Let's just go get Sanji and get the hell out of here. And it was great. And like I think the like this is the how do I do this? This is the like everybody pulls a gun on each other at the same second like arc of One Piece, where it's just like there's Capone who's planning to betray Big Mom, and then there's the
With missile launchers.
and then there's the Straw Hats who are teaming up with Capone who are trying to assassinate Big Mom, and then there's Big Mom who's trying to get rid of the Vince Smoke family, and then there's the Vince Smoke family who kind of knows but doesn't really know too much about what Big Mom's planning to do, but they're planning on the fact that that's probably going to happen, so they're making sure of it. But then there's a gun that can actually pierce the armor of the Vince. It's like everybody's got plans to assassinate everybody. This is the plan. Everybody's plan to assassinate everyone is this arc. That's the whole arc, and like it's just built up to this nth degree where it's like, man, I hope people live through this.
super, super minor segue, but like, dude, we've been getting fed for costuming in the last like X amount of chapters. Like, Nami had a really cute outfit on Furry Island.
Yep.
Then they got really cute like fairy tale costumes when they get to Whole Cake. And then now we have the almost like
The mafia outfits.
the mafia outfits that we've already seen in the movie we just referenced earlier, where they already had an iteration of it before this arc. But now we're getting like double moff, and I'm like, I love the mafia look.
Grand Moff.
Double moff.
Like, it's a good look. It's a
Grand
good
Moff.
look.
Dude, but to that end, like on that line, the scene of
Grand
everybody razzing Caesar is just I mean,
Yes.
we've gone on record.
Deserved.
Caesar absolutely sucks, and the
Yeah.
fact that his mafia redesign is
Clown
like
derogatory.
clown derogatory, but the fact that he looks like a Jersey bro by just
Yes.
like putting
Yes.
his hair all the way straight up.
Yeah.
But it still kind of works for him. It's just like, wow, they totally visually and emotionally made this guy.
What did they call him? What
biggest
was his
loser.
name?
Gastino.
Gangster Gastino.
Yeah, it's me. I'm Gangster Gastino. And Luffy goes, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else."
Since we've met Caesar way back on Punk Hazard, I feel like every arc he's like, I gotta make some new friends because I need an opportunity to get out of here. And I feel like he's been the biggest poser since we've met him, because he's been like, he had an outfit in Doflamingo's Island arc. And then
Dressrosa?
like, yeah, and like he's been in, he also has been in many disguises, and it's like it hasn't worked out for him since because he sucks.
Also, his disguises are terrible.
Yeah. Well, he's terrible, so it just reflects on his person.
Just very dumb. Very
Yeah.
dumm.
He's a
Yeah.
gas bag.
It's
The bag of hot air.
for an
Like,
arc.
I'm
that
so
carries-
glad that he's become the squad punching bag. Like,
Well deserved.
quite frankly, very well deserved. This guy sucks.
They can't beat
And the
up on
fact that
Buggy
they
anymore.
keep bringing him around, it's just like, what if Buggy was worse and more annoying? It's just like, here's Caesar Clown. It's like, first of all, I don't know what's going on with this clown thing, but both of you are atrocious. But this guy's at least funny. Even if it's unintentional, you're just a clown derogatory.
We need the Caesar and Buggy meetup where Buggy just puts him in his place about being a clown, like having the.
I'm gonna honk the hell out of you. You won't even see it honking coming
In
And it's
public.
just Buggy, just clown horn sound effects instead of swearing.
Yes.
Caesar Clown.
I've had it with this dude.
This arc is so complicated though because there's so many moving parts. We got the Sanji stuff, we have the pudding
The
stuff.
Jinbei
Then
stuff.
there's Then there's also the Jinbei stuff, and then we have
Interesting.
now the
Shut up.
Capone stuff. And it's all coming to a head for the wedding, and everyone has all these subplots going on, and it's like, how is it all going to work? And we have new people coming to the wedding who I think we have heard about but have never gotten an introduction for.
Hey, can I
Go for
talk
it.
about the most interesting person at the wedding, please?
Go
Yeah,
off.
for it. I set you up for this, so go for it.
We have met the president of the World Economy newspaper, Big News Morgans. The
This big
second-
bird motherfucker.
This big bird son of a biscuit, I swear to God, like, I never thought we would get a face of the newspaper. Like,
Yeah.
I just thought the newspaper was just like, similarly to, as a kid, it's like, oh, the newspaper just happens. People don't do anything. But being able to meet the person that actually runs the whole thing completely changes the perspective of any time we have seen a newspaper or seen a wanted poster at all.
Can I, as we're talking about Morgans, can I just throw in one of my theories because it's not confirmed nor denied? So I just pulled up his.
Molly is he one of your husbands too?
No, but I
He's kind of birdie.
do need to address
He's kind of
this.
birdie.
I need to address the allegations. No, but no, I'm on his wiki because I wanted to make sure. I've thought about this before,
Because
and
you go there
I needed,
all the time.
no, I needed to
Bookmark?
make sure this is right. So he, as we see at the wedding, he is a walking, talking bird in clothes. His devil fruit, his wiki, he is the bird fruit model albatross, meaning he's not like Chopper as like an animal who ate a human fruit. He is a human that ate a bird fruit and chooses to parade around as like the hybrid bird human, or like, you know,
yeah.
he's,
Well, wouldn't you? Like, listen, if you
okay.
listen, all right,
That's
no,
headlines,
hold on,
baby.
hold on. Think about it for a second. You eat a devil fruit. You eat a devil
Uh-huh.
fruit, right? You got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's say it's of a pretty cool animal, not like the coolest animal ever, but a pretty cool animal.
Like a
Do you
giraffe.
walk around as bog standard human basic, default settings? Do you walk around as animal thing, or do you go around as animal person forever
Okay.
because it's cool?
But can I get to the theory part of
Okay, let's hit the theory.
of this section? So we as readers get introduced to him in this form, but we know his reputation precedes him. This is a guy who somehow gets information like before, like the stuff that the world government does not want put in the newspaper. This guy goes out of his way to put it in the newspaper. Here's my theory. We get introduced to him in this form, implying we've never seen him before. What if we have seen him before in the background in his human version and we just have no idea? And he has been at those places that he's reported on and we have no idea.
I
That's
love that
true.
so much.
I
what
like,
if
you know?
he's a newspaper who ate a devil fruit?
Oh my god.
listen, we don't know. We don't know yet. The story's not over.
Well, I think
The thing is,
just
swords can eat devil fruits. If that's the case, like, how is he so good at being Mr. Newspaper Man?
well,
He's a
wouldn't he just be good at that one newspaper?
No, you don't know that. This world.
He freelances.
Think about it. Think about it. Think about it though. Think about it though. With all the weird stuff that has happened, is that necessarily completely out of
No.
it's
Yes.
not. What do you mean yes?
So here's why I say yes is because I feel like with the sheer magnitude of characters introduced just in this arc, let alone moving forward, I think Oda's character references and representations of these characters aren't going super duper deep anymore. And I think just the fact that he is an albatross is already a reference to being, because there's that expression like an albatross on your neck, like something that weighs you down, something that you just can't avoid, something that you can't escape from. And this character being in charge of the news media or like the wanted posters or like this being just the representative of how people get information and how this albatross controls information that the world sees. I think that already is an instance of their characterization meaning something. I don't think they have to go so deep as to turn a newspaper into a bird, because also that hybrid form wouldn't make sense if he was full bird. If I'm just
Okay.
going on genealogy, because he would be half newspaper, half bird, not half man, half bird.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
also
true.
just like it's so interesting because it's like he also
What if
gets
he was
revealed.
part of Roger's crew?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but he's
Yeah, there
also
you-
revealed. He is introduced and revealed with like he is the emperor of the underground, like with a handful of other people we've never met before.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like people, movers and shakers in the underworld, and him
Yeah.
being one of them
I'm
is just like,
that's a whole separate. I mean, the fact that they call him the emperor of the underworld has so much connotation to it. That's just like,
What does it mean?
I don't know, and I don't know. I actually forgot. I'm looking and I'm like, what does it mean? What does it mean?
There's a couple situations here, and if we want to do a quick like, haha, here's the theory. The quick theory is that could be part of Roger's crew, and that like stayed connected, stayed underground, and because like he ended up getting a devil fruit, changed his name, stays in that form so he can stay incognito, so he's not brought in. Comma also, however, could be one of the government people working as the bird, getting the information from the inside and then spreading it despite them not wanting to be spread. And it's just like, haha, double agent.
One more, and the third thing, tag on, his outfit is kind of steampunky. What if he's with Luffy's dad?
What if this is Sabo?
Is it the top half?
What if
No, you
Sabo
can't have
ate
two
two
devil
devil
fruit.
fruits and
Oh my god.
What
Oh
if
my
he figured
God.
out the other thing?
Salbatross.
I knew it. I knew it.
Sawbird.
Salvo.
Sawbird.
Um,
Anyway.
just the fact that this guy can say, hey, run this story right away and completely change the landscape of the world. Like, just at the end of this, naming Luffy the 5th emperor completely disrupted anything and everything that the government was doing and went,
Yep.
oh, we need to see about this. We need to figure this
Oops.
out. Oops. Exactly.
Also,
I love Morgans so much.
It's also, I just love beating the guy who, like, our only info about the newspaper in this world is that it's delivered by like seagulls and albatrosses, and it's like
Wearing little newsy
he is
hats.
he's on brand for his like.
That's good advertising.
Yeah, I love that the leader of the seagull newspaper is also a seagull. Like, yeah, man, he knows his brand, he knows the assignment. Like, this guy's about it.
Well, it's the albatross though. Like, I guess there's another implication there, along with what Mark was saying earlier, is that the albatross has the longest wingspan of any bird.
Mhm.
Like, they can fly sleeping. So, in a way, maybe symbolically, he's sort of above everything. Like, if anything happens down at sea level, he doesn't care. He's above it.
Yeah.
And he has a
Yeah.
wide reach.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's also like strategically like gives himself the image that he's in line with the Navy because their symbol is the seagull. But it's more of like a cloak and dagger situation where like he's playing along with them now, but like constantly we've seen them being like, bro, we did not greenlight for him to just put this in the newspaper and report on this. What the hell? It's like he's just doing his thing, man. I don't know what to tell you.
What's the seagull equivalent of cloak and dagger? Chips and hot dogs.
Yeah. Every meme photo of the in-between of a seagull coming down and snatching fries away from somebody trying to take a selfie.
Here's
Yeah,
the scoop.
This whole ending of this arc, the whole cake, the whole wedding is just crazy. And we finally come to a head with all this stuff of like we find that like in the like haha I'm betraying you moment with the Charlottes, it's like also like haha I'm betraying everyone at this party.
Counterpoint, we're betraying you.
Yeah, it's a very obvious power grab that they all should have like seen coming, but we're all lured into false security due to everyone has to leave their weapons at the door, etc., etc. Also, it's a party, so it's like no one A2 Caesar, like no one was, or Brute, whatever. It's like they don't.
Well,
no
I mean,
one's
Caesar was
suspecting
there.
it. Yeah.
Brutus stabbing
Also,
him.
Caesar-
And
also
Yeah.
Caesar was
Yeah,
there.
hey man, and that's he was playful stabbing Brutus, and then Brutus was like, cut it out, and like actually stabbed him. But like it's just like so much happens in this moment, and it's such a stupid thing, but I have to bring it up. Brooke disguised as I think Luffy, where he's wearing the like human suit like bubble head, and he's just like every shot of him before he's like actually revealed, it's just this head leaning in like around characters make me laugh. So it's I think it's in spoilers. I'll have to go digging for it. I have all these screenshots of Brooke and I'm just being like, god damn, I forgot about this. But yeah, there's a lot happening here. So we team up with Capone and like can we talk about Capone for a second?
Absolutely.
Do we
So,
have
like,
to?
Just a little bit.
Just a
I
little
like
bit.
it's somebody who like same thing that I had with like Kid and Law. Like we met them at like a bad place in the manga. Like we met them all at Shibodi, Saba Odi, excuse me, Shibuti. And same thing where it's like, who's that guy? That guy? He kills anybody who looks at him. Who's that guy? That guy, I don't know, like he does tax evasion. Like that's a bad guy. It's like we met the worst generation, right? We met everyone, but we haven't gotten to know them yet. We just see little tidbits of them. For somebody who I was like, I for sure hate this guy. Like this guy like caused problems. He took Sanji. He's got a cool devil fruit, but whatever. So does Walpole's, meaning like Walpole. And like getting to know him a little better, and also seeing Capone react to like being like, all right, here's the plan, Shay. And like Luffy being like, got it, doing my own thing. And having that moment of like when Usopp was trying to warn Law about like, listen, man, an alliance does not mean the same thing to Luffy. If you do this, you will never be rid of Luffy and you will regret it. And having Capone be like, we have a perfect plan, and it's going to work, and everything's going to be great. And then having him have the moment of like, this idiot. And like really,
This is the guy?
the consequences
This
to
one?
his. I love when people are like, yeah, I'll just like trick Straw Hat Luffy, it'll be great. And then immediately the consequences to their actions having consequences in a way they weren't expecting or wanting. And seeing his crew, I think, is very interesting. Very interesting. A bunch of people who have the aura of like, yeah, we're bad guys, Shay, and being like, they're not that bad. And also, he's like married to and they have a baby to we met her
Charlotte?
Which one?
Yeah,
Come
it's a
on.
Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte.
We met her twin sister on Thriller Bark.
Mhm.
Chiffon.
Chiffon, thank you, God. Mark,
Not Lola,
they would have let me.
Chiffon.
They would have let me go for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, we would definitely would have.
And then Mark would have had to cut all that out. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, Oda was like, "Oh, he's so bad. Like he's like such a bad guy, and you guys should watch out. Like this guy's a bad guy." And then we meet them, and it's like,
Bad
actually,
guy.
not
Can
that
you say
bad.
that one more time for me, Molly?
He's a bad guy. He's a
Thank
bad
you.
guy. Oh God. And it's one of those where it's like, well, how bad can he actually be? This guy is like a family man. Like not even
And,
like
but that ties back into that generational trauma and like big families, or like how people consider what does family mean to this different people. And we have a mafia family, we have a found family, we have a all of the like definition, the greatest family crossover you've ever seen. Every single thesaurus definition of family is here.
and
We have
I
the
don't know.
Olive Garden where you're here,
Going
your family.
fast and furious.
It's like I don't know if I necessarily would want anybody to be in a mafia family, but like good for because she went out there and found. No, wait. I think it worked out, right? Because
you'll get there, Molly.
Capone got absorbed into the Big Mom family at some point, and then that she'd then force him to marry her daughter so that he would be in their crew for life. Because they actually genuinely like each other and have a baby, and it like worked out for them. But it's like I forgot
so much density.
Yeah, I'm like, because it's like I was gonna say like good for her. She went out and found what she wanted, but actually she didn't. Like she is making the best of a situation that she may not necessarily have picked for herself. Whereas her twin sister actually did leave to go and find her destiny and has no idea that her mom wants her dead. And if she ever shows up again, she's in big trouble. But
you are in such trouble.
it's just it's a weird dynamic because it didn't work out for Capone actually. Like I don't think he necessarily wanted to be part of Big Mom's crew. It just happened to work out that way or die, and ended up marrying somebody who I think they like respect each other. Like they have a rapport where it's like it's not just like quiet you. I only married you because of your mother. It's like he like does stuff like when she requests stuff of him, it doesn't say no. Like he kind of goes out of his way.
They communicate.
Yeah, and it's
a
like
thing that she didn't have.
They have a healthy relationship.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm going for. But I'm happy that like she got out of a bad situation. Could have been a worse situation. Like she doesn't know who this guy is and was forced to marry him, and it worked out. And I also feel like she is now with Capone's crew learning what family should be. And like that's the what I was trying to get to. I'm sorry.
It's also
we got
really
there.
funny that Capone's like giant human castle form is called Big Father.
Big Mom be Big Father.
Yeah. But what a
Large
cool
Daddy.
What a cool devil fruit though. Like let me look up the differences between him and Wapol, because like my first thought was like, isn't that what Wapol is? But it's not. Wapol absorbs things and then can turn into them, right? Whereas Capone
Is a castle.
Yeah, is a castle. Like
The whole dude.
His
As
body
much
is
as
a
Big
temple.
Morgan's like is an albatross and a person, Capone is a castle and a person.
yes.
The rules of this world are just wacky.
Listen.
I don't know if we've ever pointed that
Wacky.
out.
Like it's trying to explain
All right.
where you are later into One Piece to anyone who hasn't seen it is basically just you're rambling like a crazy person.
I think the question to ask is, what's the weirdest devil fruit you've seen so far? And that'll be like, okay, I know where you are. Because you haven't hit this person yet.
What's the
Or
weirdest
this
devil fruit you've
item.
seen so far? I don't know. Like the guy who's a castle. You're not even close.
Yeah, there's literally one that happened this week where we're just all in spoiler chat being like, what does that
my God.
mean?
I
What does
like
this
almost said
mean?
it out loud, and I had
I
to
did
sit and be
too.
like, "No, that's a spoiler.
Can't do it.
That's a
I
recent
think-
spoiler."
I think even if we say the name of the fruit, anybody who isn't completely cut up would still be like, well, that doesn't tell me anything.
So
Out of
can
It
I?
tells you
Context is
nothing about
so
the
weird.
character or nothing about what the abilities are, because we know just as much.
Can I?
Yeah, of course.
Wax poetic for a couple
Yeah,
seconds about
go
a
for it.
couple things. I just want to go back to Charlotte Smoothie for a second. Really cool, really
surprise.
cool,
I'll allow it.
really cool character design. Really cool devil
Go
fruit.
on.
And again, it keeps being the exact thing of just like, how does he keep getting away with this? Like he keeps just making the weirdest, stupidest things. It's like, yeah, that's a whole
it's-
thing now.
I memean, it would totally write him into a corner, but I personally would love to see the devil fruit encyclopedia, because there must be so many subcategories. Because it's like there is the dog devil fruit, and then there's every iteration of dog you can come up with. Like, and then it's
And then
like
when
also,
a new version of a dog, we're like, well, what if we mix this dog with that dog? Well, that's a whole new breed of dog. That means there's a whole
Yeah.
new breed of devil fruit, because the law of the universe says
It's-
balance is in order.
It's like, and that's just the zone category. And it's like, we don't know it yet, but when it happens, like the placeholder for the devil fruit explanation in my mind is like in Rama 1/2 when they go to the hot springs in China, and it's like, oh, you fell in that pool. That's the pool of like a young girl was drowned there. Oh, that was the pool where a pig drowned there. And it's like, there's just like, God, how many people died here? And also, how many pools are there? And in my head, I'm like, well, we have this understanding that like there is whoever possessed the devil fruit at some point perhaps had a will. We've talked about it about Ace. We don't understand the implications of what that means.
The will
But,
of
like-
having Big D. Got it.
Yeah, and it's like, cool. So if I put it in my mind and make it make sense in the Rama 1/2 kind of way, does that mean like a dog at some point had died and the devil fruit was then born, and then like another iteration of the dog was born, and then a young woman, and then the human fruit, somebody who died, and then the fruit was born. And it's
What
just
happens
like,
when a smoothie dies?
this could go on for so long. And
How
yeah,
many
it's like,
fruit are in a smoothie?
yeah, well, it's like a whole category of food now that like we never considered. Like we had the candy girl from one of the movies, but it was like, I know, she
Sure,
was
sure.
honey, the ara. She was honey something, and then a different movie, the sicko movie. That guy had a candy fruit, and like
He got tornadoed to death.
it's like Oda, just level at me. Like, when does this stop? Like, where do you draw the line where it's like, that's ridiculous? Because you keep finding all these subcategories of abilities that could easily be the flame fruit, but it's like, no, I'm the candle. I had the candle fruit, so I can also light fires. Well, yeah, I'm the firefly fruit, so I also can light fires. It's like
The most intense fight of this arc is a fight between a rubber fruit and a mochi fruit.
yeah,
Sure.
Like, on paper, what?
yeah.
In practice, holy shit.
We're getting to a point, and I mean, I'm like, listen, I'm talking about it like I'm mad about it. I'm not really mad about it. I'm not complaining about it. But we're getting to a point in One Piece where he's very clearly saving some elemental fruit or like very specific devil fruit that we haven't been introduced. Like, we know from Marco that there is a mythical Zoan fruit category. We've met maybe a couple, but not all. And like a lot of elements,
like 3 or 4, I think.
And some ancient X Drake is an ancient Zoan.
Yeah, and we're missing a lot of stuff. And it's like, I love Oda because now, especially with like the last 2 arcs, it feels like that's like Oda's just been giving us the OC like characters and not the like main character people yet. It's very much like, well, yeah, but this character has the smoothie fruit. And like what that means is that it's actually an iteration. It's very different from
Did Oda become George Lucas?
Yeah, it's like
my kids thought.
I feel like there is a different. It's kind of like God. It's gonna go on forever. But just real quick, the Tsuru from the Marines, the like one of 3 women Marines, who is in Garp's unit or like Garp in Sengoku's.
The laundry lady.
Yeah, but like her ability is that she wrings you out and hangs you up to dry. Suthi wrings you out, wrings people's essences out of them, but they're not necessarily. Juice. Yeah, and I feel like we've met one other person. Okay, great. And oh god, I lost it. But I feel like there's somebody else that we've met who wrings people out, and it's like, I don't know, man.
Crocodile.
Like visually imagine me looking tired and drained and exhausted, and I also have my own red thread board up behind me, but none of it makes sense. It's just more of like comparing people with devil fruit that is kind of similar to other people's devil fruit, but there's no real connection aside from aesthetic. I
just really appreciate that Charlotte Smoothie literally has the ring fruit. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna suck the juice out of you, and you're gonna be so thirsty about it later. There's so many jokes to make about it, and I just wanted to
the jokes came.
Crocodile. He has a very similar power where he can just
suck the moisture out of him. But is it the same as wringing the juice out of him? Slightly different. Slightly different.
Dehydrated.
Very. Listen, there's 2 different kinds of thirst happening here.
There's parched, and then there's
the dehydrated section of the encyclopedia. I'm sorry, I genuinely didn't hear you. I was thinking about crocodile, and you put it in front of me, and I looked away.
I set it down. It was labeled.
Yeah, and honestly, while we're talking about the mochi fruit, like Katakuri rules. Like just cool as hell. Really cool, really cool. Loved him immediately. Like I know that like
donut biker aesthetic.
Like honestly, I like maybe it's like every time that's am I a trope? I might be.
Okay.
You're asking this now.
Every single time, like the last time, I'm just like, whoa, this dude with the fangs who's got this whole aesthetic, I really like it. And then this happens again. It's just like, oh, this dude's really cool too. I like it. It's like, wait a minute.
You can't keep getting away with this.
It's surprising every time.
Oda keeps doing this. And it's like, and what's his devil fruit? Mochi. It's like, oh, that's adorable. And it's like both of these dudes have like, it's like, oh, it's like, I've got barriers. I've got mochi, and we both look like we're Baraka's children from Mortal Kombat, and they're both kind of like okay. Katakuri isn't necessarily the sweetest person in the world. However, he kind of is one of the nicest people, even though he's like one biggest of the nicer fight.
The nicer Charlotte children, maybe.
Yeah, like honestly, I kind of want this dude to have a good life. Like this guy deserves to have some nice things happen to him later. Like he's just like also like he's adorable. Like that's kind of like he's like
somebody who has
he doesn't want to be here. He just wants to be eating cakes and cookies and crap. And it's like, well, I hope you get to enjoy your life.
He's never lied on his back in his entire life.
That guy just wants to be Yoshi's Cookies, the video game. But they keep like these like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Like they keep pulling them back into family drama.
And like I, honestly, like I do love that Katakuri's very much just like, I'm gonna predict that you're gonna do this. And it's like, yeah, I was going to do that. Now I'm going to do something else. Crap. It's like it's,
You got me there.
He's so like what a weird honorable trait for this dude to have. That's why I like him. It's a great vibe, great, like cool as hell fight. Not my prerogative, not what I was focusing on. So I was like, I just want this dude to have like a dozen donuts and to have like a nap. Like what
What a vibe.
what a bro. What an absolute dude. Like
Luffy basically beats him with a DDoS attack.
yeah, honestly.
The Snake Man form of Gear 4, where he's
so
just
cool.
rocketing a punch around in like thousands of directions all at once, stretching to the absolute limit to punch this guy in the face. It's great.
Yeah, honestly, oh god, like and seeing Gear 4 like do different things.
Change.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gear 4 is like, well, Gear 4 is this. It's like, is it? It's like, well, stop. And this is where I pause. Because this is where my brain went. And I thought about things. And I've been keeping theories away from you guys. Because if I let you guys know things, it makes you guys type stuff. But because we probably have a good amount of information about Whole Cake that we haven't even gotten into yet, and we're sitting at a pretty decent runtime right now, it looks like we're going to come back and talk more about Whole Cake probably later, I guess. Like,
We're gonna be talking about holes a lot more.
Listen, you thought the Whole Cake was over? No, bigger
Cakes
hole.
and hole.
It's going
You
back in
thought-
the freezer.
Guess what? It's guess what? Whole cake, pie hole. All right.
my
The
God.
theory is
As a fun little assignment for you listeners out there for this part, at the end of the episode, go back, re-listen, and give us a counter for how many times we said hole with a W.
I was gonna
or
say the
without a
same
W.
thing.
I was like, at some point, Al had said it like 5 times in like
In
a
a
sentence,
row, yeah.
and I was like, man, I wish I had started counting at the beginning. Of the hour.
I started whispering hole when people said
Are you kidding me?
You're throwing off the
Jerk.
demographic. The curve.
The curse is real.
Yeah.
The hole is real.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
This is such
Very
a as like I don't know. This is hard. Conflicting-
I mean, this
conflicting
arc
feelings.
and this energy, the energy
Yeah.
that we have created today, is
Yeah,
something that
chaos.
will just linger, and I hope that it lingers in all of your hearts as well,
And
with
all of your holes.
in your
homies.
whole heart.
like the ordeal of balls, the ordeal of holes.
We're gonna have
God.
each of us is gonna have an ordeal by the end of the
This whole podcast has been my ordeal. What are you talking about?
You're telling me.
Caden's ordeal of podcast.
When we stop recording, I'm gonna have a fucking ordeal. All right, off mic.
We're gonna have some things to talk about. Speaking of things
Scream
to talk
about-
about, no, go ahead, scream. You screaming?
I'm gonna listen. As soon as the podcast is over, I'm gonna just scream the word "hole" as loud as I possibly can.
Bless.
Oh my god.
That wouldn't disrupt the Los Angeles vibes whatsoever.
Molly will hear it. It'll be fine.
I mean, only if I don't eclipse you when I scream hole and you hear.
Our whole screams will
And
reach
then-
each other and then like
don't like that.
clash into the,
The
air
entire-
and then clear
the-
up the smog in LA.
I gotta go.
Yeah, the entire
A magnitude
the entire
5.1
county.
earthquake hit the LA downtown area this evening.
5.1 magnitude hole.
The entire county is like, man, what show are they advertising? What is Hole? Is that like an HBO show?
Is that a new movie? Is that it's like
They're looking
Delayed
through the
marketing
guy.
for that Disney movie.
Yeah,
there's these movies with the single name titles are getting real weird.
Yeah, they're like looking
Gerard
into this
Butler's
guy.
hole.
No, Chris Evans is Hole.
All right, we can do Chris Evans too. I was making
Hey,
a
that's
plain
the
joke.
sequel.
but-
That was Hole 2.
yeah, that's like changing the actor, but it's still
We
the
have-
same franchise.
It's lore
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
the
It is part of our lore.
What did you say earlier, Molly? It's in California. They're called conversation pits.
Yeah. I don't think I saw that in the Discord. I don't want to interrupt anybody, but I was like, a hole, or as LA County calls it, conversation.
Before we
Yeah.
devolve into another conversation pit of conversation pits, what? um, before we sign off, because you can
Yeah.
our brain spaces right now are so filled with
Mhm.
cakes and holes and people named Charlotte and the concept of Den Den
Yeah.
Mushi's pooping film.
So
But before we go, does anybody have any sort of final thoughts about this chunk of Whole Cake Island that we talked about today?
I have one thing. And it's very fast.
Geez, in before the buzzer. Let me clear them real quick.
Okay, so I want to talk about something that probably would have gotten glossed over because it's such a small thing, and it's about Carrot.
Oh.
Carrot can draw. And
No, he can
immediately
draw
when I saw how Carrot draws, I'm
JoJo.
just like, this is 15-year-old Molly energy.
No, entirely. When Turning Red came out and the scene where she's under the bed drawing the like how to draw anime boys who are like,
I've had it up
Like-
on my tablet the entire time because I'm just like, I'm not letting this go. I have to remember this because like I saw it and I'm just like, what major Molly energy? If there was another character to have Molly energy besides Luffy, it's
Yeah.
Carrot.
It's the drawing where she draws his abs through his shirt and she goes, yeah, like does the like really like perverted laugh.
Why
That
are they
is
all?
me.
So it's like Molly's just like, if they won't remember to draw them hot, I will. Carrot
Yeah.
energy. It's right there.
It's the rolling up the sleeves.
Puts on the Infinity Gauntlet. I'll do
Yeah.
it.
Like I
myself.
literally
Yeah.
have the page up where it's the mirrors on the wall. Tell us where to find them all, and it's like, why are they all so beautiful? It's like that is it right there. The Molly energy. Brooke
Brooke is Marge Simpson. No, Brooke is the
It's
old lady
so
at the
funny.
Brooke is the old lady at the Springfield nursing home that says, "Can I come too?"
It's so funny. Like that picture, I'm just like, this is just Molly. This is
Yeah.
Molly.
But also the
Yeah.
fact that Sanji, Luffy, and Nami literally all have the same face, copy and pasted, is like that's a call out post to somebody.
I'm sure Al knows it. It's the like only being able to draw the same look at the 3/4 turn, and it's always like facing left. It's like for every drawing. That's me.
That's all.
Fan art of Molly as Carrot win. Anyway,
It's a
listen,
hard
that's-
habit to break.
That's like, because Molly does have an alt. From like Molly has the
Yano.
ace alt. Yeah. The thing is I don't think Molly as ace is Yano. Because like everybody in the Yano has to be villainish, right?
well, Polly is a future crew member, so mine doesn't.
Shut
count
up!
either.
Shut up! Stop talking! I hate you! I hate this! Oh my god.
I solved your puzzle.
No, I'll puzzle you. I don't know. I don't got anything.
Daily. Yeah, Carrot. It becomes an MVP, and we're going to talk more about her in the next episode. Does anybody else have anything that they wanted to bring up? Any moments? Any silliness? Any seriousness?
I hate Parasparrow.
Oh,
Thank
God.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we need
Just-
we got the transition of Caesar into pure clown, and now we need somebody to like pure hate again. And Parasparrow is 100% that person.
Worst.
It's like-
Worst. 0 out of 10. Negative
It's like-
1,000 out of 10. Worst.
Oda gives all these characters quirks, and sometimes their speech quirks or like the way they laugh. And Parasparrow's quirk is to say "lick" at the end of everything he says while lolling a 4-foot tongue around. It's
Ugh.
awful.
I don't like it. You know what? I'll say it. I don't like it.
Let's not end on Parasparrow.
I'm so sorry. It's just that's been. We'll have to talk about it eventually.
Parasparrow has been bothering us since their inception. So like,
So
I don't.
we brought it up and never addressed it, but we did find out what Pudding said to Luffy. Like that was the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Anticipation has been killing me.
Yeah, and also like just seeing like her Devil Fruit is really cool, man. I'll say it. Like we talked about how it's very like gaslit,
Molly,
but it's
what
also
did-
like
what did she say?
I don't. I'm hungry. I figured somebody would step in and I would just talk about
Are you-
something else.
That's the most Luffy thing. But I think
I'm gonna be very honest. I'm going through really old art right now to find something to show you guys that I did draw like carrot, and I'm thinking about other stuff, and I
So
apologize.
like Molly was running a relay
Yeah.
and just threw the baton into the crowd, and everybody just like
I hoped-
split and let it
I
cling
prayed.
against the benches.
Yeah, I was hoping somebody would grab it. while I was
Literally,
doing-
literally, Molly as Luffy throwing the baton. It's like, quick, catch this! I gotta go do something else. And all of us are fighting our own battles. Turn around, the thing hits the ground. It's like, man, we hope that wasn't important.
I threw it.
Is that part of the plan?
I threw it with like a really like confident pose with like my tongue sticking out and winking and like.
And then
being,
you
like,
rolled a natural 1.
Yes, and like, or no, not even natural 1 because that would have like hit somebody and caused damage like a stupid amount. It would be
Just
like I
rolled a-
rolled a 2.
You rolled like a 4. It's just
Yeah,
like
I rolled
it
something
just hits the
stupid.
ground. Nothing interesting happens. It just goes. Bunk.
I don't know what to tell you,
So-
man. Yeah.
Gling, 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 gling.
Pudding whispered that she was going to shoot Sanji at the wedding,
Thank
and
you.
that Luffy and Nami would be killed as well.
Yes.
We did it.
I
everybody.
realize now that also is a
Boys.
bummer way to end the episode. But
Oh no!
Also-
Somebody threatened to kill Sanji. Whatever will we? Wow, I gotta go.
Molly pulled her own "I'm a genius, oh no" moment.
I was like, wait, a little bit of intrigue. Oh, that is what she said. Yeah, that's not the
Oops.
moment I meant. I meant that like, yeah, okay, we found oh, she's evil. Oh. But then we find out another good note is that like, is she evil or is she just never been given the opportunity to be nice? And the opportunity to be nice was more of what I should have been going for as the end of the episode.
That's a good note to end on is having opportunities and sort of fumbling them, and then ending on the ultimate opportunity to let Sanji go off with the crew by deleting his memory one more time of their first and only kiss.
Is is she buying coffee and being like, "Hey man, I'll pay for the people behind me's coffee"? And is she paying it forward? We don't know yet.
But then she sets off a chain reaction of somebody not wanting to be the person who doesn't pay for the coffee behind them.
Yeah.
And somehow we've ended up in a very bizarre mind state to end on, but that's where we're gonna end it on.
No,
where I live.
I got a nice way to end it.
Okay, thank God.
I think the entirety of the Charlotte family puts some things into perspective, and it is that like generational trauma nonsense that is so often talked about in a lot of media, especially lately, and seeing the perpetuation of it by some characters, Sparrow, and the dismissal of it by some others like Pudding, and then the wanting to distance themselves from it but not really kind of understanding how to do it and just trying to follow orders and dreaming about something else like Katakuri and so on and so forth. There is a lot going on there. So if there's anything to take out of the Charlotte family as a whole, this is the one thing. You will never truly understand somebody else's story. However, there is always a possibility of growth and change in all of this. And though Charlotte Pudding was put into a terrible situation, she is making the best of it as best she can as a kid. And a lot of these people who are in this Charlotte family are still kind of young. Not a lot of them are very old. And like even the older ones who are just like, yeah, we've got to figure it out and I've kind of resigned myself to it, they're only like 30 something. It's like, that's not old at all. And then there's Pedro Sparrow who sucks, who is decided to live in the douchebag corner for douchebags for the rest of his existence. And you kind of see Charlotte Linlin in a little bit of a different light, especially learning about the history, but she doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and whole caked down on her ideology and thought process with all of this, and it's spread to her children. And is there a possibility that there is some sort of like redemption for Linlin down the line? Maybe. We don't know. But the thing is I don't necessarily think Big Mom is as big bad as she likes to appear. It's just a lot of baggage from everything. Pedro Sparrow, however, can go die. That's about it.
I agree.
Let's
How was
put
that?
our baggage on everybody else by telling them where they can find us on social media. Chill,
Christ.
chill,
The master of
chill. Al, let's start with you.
You can
Yeah.
find me on, I guess, everywhere at Al McClellan Jr. That's ALMCCLELLANDJR. Good luck.
Caden.
You can find me on Twitch and Tumblr, Caden Jensen. That's where I'm going to be. Those are my two places. I've moved lower and lower in the amount of social medias because, hey, let me tell you a little trick. The less social medias you're on, the better your mental health. So yeah, find me on Twitch, find me on Tumblr, Caden Jensen. I post memes, I post stuff, I play video games. I'm a VTuber. I'll see you on the socials of the media.
And you can find me all across social media at Mark B. Donica, including Twitch, where I stream. I've been doing a lot of like midday vibey streams, but I'm gonna be starting up a Smash Brothers Nuzlocke soon, which I've been actually really looking forward to. So if you want to be a part of that, head over there. Also follow Yayo Talk Show on Twitch, where we stream as a group, mostly piratey type stuff, or Mario Party. It's one of those two things. We
Or
stream a lot of
Uno,
vibey
the
stuff.
thing that we started with. Come on.
No, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
I don't. Man, Uno. We need
One.
we need to do more Uno, like better Uno than the Ubisoft game. But let's talk about that later. Hey, Captain, where can the folks find you on the social medias?
You can find me at Twitter at TEHFLOOD. You can find me on Tumblr at Molly Flood, Molly K Flood, depending on what you're looking for. Memes versus my own personal art. And we have a Yayo Talk Show Tumblr, which we posted. I believe we talked about it last episode, but the whole cake poll is now going.
The whole poll.
And
No.
I think depending on if this episode's
Poll
coming
is
out,
another word for Smash or Pass.
if this episode's coming out on Friday, you may have like less than 24 hours for this before the
You've
poll
got 24
ends.
hours.
So we'll post on the Twitter to tell you guys to get over there. But I would hate to be like, we have a poll going on right now, and then they'd show up and it's like it ended yesterday.
I mean, we technically do, so
Yeah.
that still
Oops.
fits.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Tumblr is fun. Come and join us.
Well, going along
Great.
with how most arcs and sagas have ended, now that you've listened to the episode, you've joined our grand fleet. With that comes the responsibility of telling your friends, leaving a comment, following us all over social media at Yayo Talk Show, and letting Caden read the manga or watch the show in one piece. So come aboard, and we'll see you next time on Yayo Talk Show.
Talking about One Piece.